It was just after dawn on a Tuesday when 911 received a call from a quiet cul-de-sac. A neighbor reported the Morales family home had been lit for 3 straight nights, with no signs of life. Officers arrived, expecting perhaps a domestic dispute, but what they found would shake the entire county. Inside, silence, furniture overturned, a broken lamp near the door, and then the bodies. 5 adults sprawled across multiple rooms. But in the corner of the living room, a sound, faint, desperate crying. A toddler, sitting in a blood-streaked playpen. Alive. Detectives entered carefully. Blood trails crisscrossed the carpet. 1 victim on the stairs, another near the basement door. The staging of the bodies seemed deliberate. There was no forced entry. Whoever had done this had been allowed inside. The child, later identified as 2-year-old Isabella Morales, had been alone for at least 3 days. Doctors said she was dehydrated, dangerously weak, but miraculously alive. The 5 victims were all members of the Morales family. The parents, 2 adult children, and a cousin staying over for the weekend. Each was killed differently. Blunt force trauma, strangulation, multiple stab wounds, a single gunshot. Forensics placed time of death at roughly 72 hours before discovery. The variety of methods was baffling. Could this be multiple killers or a staged attempt to mislead police? Medical examiners confirmed each victim was killed in separate rooms, then moved. Blood patterns on the floor revealed dragging marks. Whoever did this spent hours inside the house. Detectives asked, why spare the toddler? Was it mercy or a calculated risk, assuming she was too young to remember? Investigators turned to the toddler, while too young to testify. Her reactions were telling. A child psychologist presented her with neutral photographs of strangers. She was calm, but when accidentally shown a picture of her uncle, Miguel Morales, she broke into inconsolable sobs. It was circumstantial, but detectives began to look closely at Miguel. Miguel Morales was the patriarch's younger brother. He had a record: theft, disorderly conduct, a DUI. More concerning was his financial state. Records showed his auto shop was failing. He had begged his brother for loans that were denied. Cell tower data now placed Miguel within 2 miles of the house the night of the murders. His claim of being home all night didn't hold, but the case took a strange turn. Neighbors reported a white van parked outside the Morales home that same night. Security cameras from a nearby gas station showed 2 masked figures walking toward the cul-de-sac around midnight. If Miguel was involved, he wasn't alone. Detectives looked wider. Another relative surfaced. Daniela Morales, a cousin who had been estranged for years after a bitter family dispute over inheritance. Recently, she had attempted to reconnect. She told police she'd been with a boyfriend during the murders, but phone records placed her near the Morales neighborhood. The basement held the key. A partial bloody footprint was discovered. Women's size 7. Daniela's shoe size. DNA analysis of skin cells under one victim's fingernails confirmed it. Daniela had been there. Was this a robbery gone wrong? A family feud turned violent? Then came the breakthrough. A storm drain, just 2 blocks from the Morales home. Inside, a bloodstained glove. Tests confirmed it belonged to Miguel. Traces of gunshot residue lined the fabric. Both Miguel and Daniela were at the house, and together, they had unleashed a massacre. Daniela was the first to break. Hours into questioning, she admitted she and Miguel confronted the family over money. A heated argument escalated. She struck the first blow with a lamp. Chaos followed. Miguel escalated further, using a gun to kill the final victim. Daniela claimed she tried to stop him, but the carnage was already complete. Investigators asked why they left Isabella alive. Daniela whispered, "Because she looked at me, she was crying and I couldn't." Miguel's response was colder. "A kid that young won't remember." But he was wrong. Her survival and her response to his photo will become the emotional centerpiece of the trial. Court proceedings drew national media. Prosecutors called the crime a blood feud driven by greed. Daniela's defense argued she acted under Miguel's coercion. Miguel's team tried to paint her as the mastermind. A child psychologist's testimony about Isabella's recognition of Miguel deeply moved the jury. After weeks of deliberation, the verdict came. Daniela, guilty of first-degree murder, life without parole. Miguel, guilty of 5 counts of first-degree murder, sentenced to death. The judge declared, "Your greed destroyed an entire family, yet you left behind a witness who would lead to your downfall." Today, Isabella lives with extended relatives under protective custody. Therapists say she carries fragments of memory, whispers of her mother crying, shadows in the dark house. The case remains etched in the community's memory as the house of dead bodies, not only for brutality, but for the haunting image of a toddler, crying in the silence, surviving when no one else did. Subscribe for more true crime chilling stories. Like and comment your opinion.